Welcome to the Plow Balance instructional video for fixed displacement systems. First, you make sure that you have the correct plow balance valve. Do this by assuring the system on your truck uses a fixed displacement pump. This pump must run at all times that the truck is running. Therefore, we cannot use plow balance valves on small, DC-driven, operate-as-needed systems. This video is divided into three categories: hydraulic system setup, electrical setup, adjustment of the plow balance system. We highly recommend that you view each system installation video before you begin your installation. The step numbers in each video are the same step numbers in your printed instructions. Hydraulic system setup. Step 1. Find the preferred location for the plow balance valve on your truck so you can link it into the hydraulic system. This will vary from truck to truck. However, typically the valve should be installed between the bed rails or in the back of the front bumper. You must not weld on the rails of the truck. Instead, you should drill and bolt the plow balance valve into position and be sure to maintain enough clearance to prevent damage to the plow balance valve. Step 2. Once you have selected the location, mount the plow balance valve onto the truck. Step 3. Next, you will reroute the current hoses from the plow cylinder into ports CA and CB on the plow balance valve, making sure that the lift or up hose is connected to port CA and the lower or down hose is connected to port CB. This is important as the plow balance holding circuit will only hold the plow off of the road if the correct connections are made. If current hoses do not allow for an easy connection, new hoses may be required. Step 4. Using two new hoses, connect port VA of the plow balance valve to port A or up port of the valve stack and connect port VB from the plow balance valve to port B or down port of the valve stack. Step 5. Locate the existing line running from the P port of the pump to the in port of the valve stack. Disconnect the end of the valve stack and run that line to the P1 port of the plow balance valve. Step 6. Now run a new line from port P2 of the plow balance valve back to the now open in port of the valve stack. Step 7. Run another new hose from the drain port in the plow balance valve to the hydraulic reservoir. It is preferred that this line is run to an unobstructed port on the hydraulic reservoir. As a second option, you may run this hose to a common return line with little or no back pressure. However, this arrangement has occasionally been shown to cause problems when adjusting the plow balance in later steps. It is time to set up the electrical components of the system. Step 1. Locate a place to mount the power control box inside the truck cab and within reach of the driver. Mount the power control box using the mounting hardware supplied. Optionally, we can use an available control switch in the cab as the power source to the plow balance valve. The following steps are generally the same whether you use the Wojanis Supply control box or the available control switch. Step 2. Route the loose wires through the cab to the power source. Both the red and orange wires are 12 volt DC positive hot with the ignition key on, while the black wire is 12 volt DC negative ground. Make the proper connections and then secure the loose wires as required. Step 3. Cut an 18-inch length of gray covered cable. Then route the remaining gray covered cable from the cab to the plow balance valve. Secure the cable as required. Remove approximately 1 inch of insulation from the open end of this cable, as well as from each open end of the 18-inch cable. Then, remove approximately 3/16 of an inch of insulation from the black and white conductors on all 3 open ends. Step 4. Remove the stainless steel screw entirely from both electrical plugs. Using a small screwdriver, insert the screwdriver into the small slot and pry the electrical plug from the plug cover. Push the black and white conductors and gray cables through the cord grips, allowing enough slack to make connections to the terminals. One plug will serve as a junction for 2 cables. Step 5. For each of the 2 plugs, connect the white wire to the number 1 terminal, which is closest to the LED indicator. Then connect the black wire to the number 2 terminal. The ground terminal is not used. Step 6. Pull the gray cable with the electrical plug attached back towards the plug cover. Snap the terminal block into the housing. Tighten the cord grip onto the cable. Position the electrical plug in the housing so that when attached to the coil, the cord grip is facing either down towards the road or back towards the rear of the truck. Step 7. Apply silicone grease to both sides of the gasket. Put the gasket onto the coil by pressing over the electrical prongs. Step 8. Match and connect the electrical plug to the coil. Secure the plug to the coil with the stainless steel screw and secure the cable additionally if required. Step 9. Fill the cord grip around the cable with silicone to add extra protection against moisture. Spray the valve assembly with a corrosion preventative to provide additional corrosion protection. Caution: do not spray onto the coil itself and clean any overspray off of the coil. Step 10. The system is now ready for operation. The power control box will be backlit when the ignition is turned on. The master switch is also lighted to indicate when the plow balance valve is activated. An LED indicator on the electrical plug glows red to show the coil is energized. Finally, you will need to adjust your plow balance valve to the appropriate setting so that the plow bears the desired weight on the surface of the road. Note: the scale of some sort will be required for this adjustment. Step 1. With the plow on the scale and the plow balance valve turned on, check the scale reading. Step 2. Connect 0 to 1000 psi pressure gauges to test points G1 and G2. G1 will show the pressure setting of the plow weight control cartridge, and G2 will show pressure setting of the pressure buildup cartridge. Step 3. Using a 9/16 inch wrench, loosen the lock nut on the weight control cartridge, which is located near the center of the plow balance valve. Step 4. Remove the black plastic cap from the adjustment screw. Using a 5/32 Allen wrench, turn the screw clockwise to make the plow lighter on the road. Turn the screw counterclockwise to make the plow heavier on the road. Increments of 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn are recommended until the scale shows the desired weight. Step 5. Once you have set the desired weight, no further adjustment will be required unless a new plow is installed on the truck that is heavier or lighter than the previous plow. Plow balance pressure settings are dependent on the weight and geometry of each truck setup. Your plow balance system is now fully operational and ready to go. Simply flip the switch in the cab and experience all of the benefits the plow balance has to offer.